Charlie Kirk. Legacy, not hate. Charlie Kirk was a Christian conservative who believed the West was under attack, not only from cultural Marxism, but also from radical Islam and fractured identities that divide rather than unite. His stances were built on facts and logic, not hate. Yet since his assassination, a flood of videos have twisted his words, taken them out of context, and attempted to tarnish both his speeches and his legacy.
Joy Reid and Michelle Obama and Sheila Jackson Lee and Ketanji Brown Jackson were affirmative action picks, we would have been called the racist. But now they're coming out and they're saying it for us. They're coming out and they're saying, I'm only here because of affirmative action. Yeah, we know. You do not have the brain processing power to otherwise be taken really seriously. You had to go steal a white person's slot to go be taken somewhat seriously. Play cut 52.
But I rise today as a clear recipient of affirmative action.
Take his stance on diversity, equity, and inclusion, Day. Kirk criticized how some roles are filled, not because of merit, but because of gender or skin color. He warned that this fosters entitlement, narcissism, and complacency. Over time, people forget it's a privilege and begin to treat it as a permanent right, regardless of performance. For this, he was smeared as racist. But his point mirrors economist Thomas Sowell, a black intellectual, who warned about the trap of cosmic justice. Even for me, as a Nigerian, it is frustrating to see capable men overlooked simply because companies want to elevate women for optics.
How do black people not have access to a better life in America? What's preventing them?
Was Kirk hateful? No. He simply spoke truths people don't want to hear. He stood against privileges based on gender and race. He raised uncomfortable realities, such as the decline of black property ownership. Here, I find him partly wrong. Statistically, it is true that black Americans lost about 90% of their farmland, from 16 million acres in 1910 to just 2.9 million acres in 2020. Whites lost only about 2%, but the causes were systemic racism, Jim Crow laws, mortgage denials, and discriminatory policies. That pain cannot be trivialized. Yet, it is also true that grievance politics has been incentivized within the black community. This has contributed to higher crime and persistent poverty. Meanwhile, immigrants, Africans, Asians, Persians, often arrive in America and outperform native-born black Americans. The issue is not only systemic, it is also cultural and psychological. Kirk wasn't perfect. On this issue, even if statistics back his claims, he sometimes overstated. But I still wouldn't call him racist. Encouraging people to work hard for what they deserve, rather than waiting for the system to lift them, is not racism. Ironically, DAE programs have benefited immigrants more than native blacks, since many immigrants come prepared to seize those opportunities.
I'm a gay conservative, and I just want to ask you, what do you have to say for people like me who kind of feel like, I guess, it's kind of hard for gay conservatives because there's not a lot of us, so like what do you have to say to other gay people who need to realize like they do have a choice?
Yeah, first of all, welcome to the conservative movement. I don't think you should introduce yourself just based on your sexual attractions.
No, I agree. I like
because that's not who you are.
I like to be thought of as a person, and
for sure, you are a complete human being, and I'm sure you treat people well, and you're studying something. So I want to get away with this idea that you're gay anything. I just think that we have gone a long way in the negative direction in this country, where we act as if the most important part of your identity is what you do in the bedroom. It doesn't mean that much to me, but if you ask from a perspective as a Christian, I don't agree with that lifestyle, but politics is about addition and multiplication. I imagine you agree with a lot of what we talk about.
Absolutely.
Right? Strong borders, strong country, and for that, we welcome you into the conservative movement.
Thank you.
Coming up in Chicago, East Garfield, and coming up in Cabrini Greenstone, can you tell me how is it that coming from a city like that and getting to a place where we came from a single-parent home to a no-parent home, can you tell me how is it that I was able to get married, which in June I'll be married 24 years. I have a 23-year-old son and a 21-year-old son, got through school, got a degree, went back and got another one. Can you explain to me how systemic racism kept me from doing that?
It doesn't. Systemic racism didn't, because every person can make good decisions and flourish in this country regardless of the color of their skin.
So then how is it that somebody like me did it though? I mean, wait, I'm black. I'm coming up in a oppressed era, so can you tell me how I was able to achieve that?
You tell me.
Well, from what I'm being told, it's because I was lucky.
I mean, It was probably hard work, good decisions, maybe a pastor or a mentor that, you know, gave you good guidance.
So then why is it so hard for everybody else to look like me to understand that?
You asked them.
Trying to. By the way, shout out to Bloomington, Illinois. I'm the guy that actually went viral for destroying CRT at the school board meeting.
I love it. Well
So
done,
nice
man.
to meet you. Hopefully I can
Thank you. Thank you.
What is affecting you? Do you have something up your ass or something?
Well, I could throw that right back at you. Why do you care so much about what I have to say?
Because you're affecting other people's rights. You're taking away people's choices. You are hurting people.
You say I'm here to take rights away.
Yes.
Do you agree life is a right?
I feel like if it's a clump of cells, then it's not alive.
No, but let's go back. Do you think every human being has a right to life?
Depending on how many weeks, but let's
so wait, hold on. Who's trying to take rights away?
Most individuals that are having abortions are going to be mothers that cannot afford it. They usually have already 2 to 3 kids and a lot of time.
So it's acceptable to be able to murder your young if all of a sudden you don't have the money to support them. That you can murder your offspring if you're poor.
So in the first couple weeks, even though it's still not fully developed, doesn't even have a heartbeat, doesn't even have brain
Development
activity.
does not equal dignity. A human being is a human being regardless of the process of development that it is in. Period.
On abortion, Kirk stood firm. He argued it's not just about choice, it's about life. A fetus already has life and deserves dignity. I believe the West's demographic collapse and low birth rates are forcing nations to rely on mass immigration from cultures with different values. The rape cases often cited in debates account for less than 1% of abortions. The real driver is hookup culture, a culture that fractures families and weakens society. On this, I support him fully.
I think it's worth it. I think it's worth to have a cost of, unfortunately, some gun deaths every single year, so that we can have the Second Amendment to protect our other God-given rights. That is a prudent deal.
On the Second Amendment, Kirk insisted that guns represent liberty, not just safety. Firearms, he argued, are a safeguard against government tyranny. He believed in liberty ahead of safety. Personally, I don't fully agree with him here, but I respect the strength of his reasoning.
It's called Judea and Samaria. It's not called Palestine.
You don't believe that Palestine have the right to exist?
No, everyone has a right to exist. Show me where it is. It's a non-existent place.
Okay, yeah, I don't think we're going to
That's why we're on different planets, right? But what is the national identity of Palestine? Educate me.
Palestinians.
What is that?
Like, what do you mean? What is that?
Yeah, what ethnicity are they?
Arabs?
Okay, so all Arabs are Palestinians?
No, but they are Arabs? What you trying to say? What is your point?
I'm trying to say, because at what point does somebody become a Palestinian?
When he was born in Palestine, or if his parents are Palestinians?
Again, this is why we're talking past each other.
What you trying to say?
I don't think the place exists.
What?
Because it doesn't. It's called Judea and Samaria. It's not called Palestine.
On Israel and Palestine, Kirk reminded audiences of the history. Emperor Hadrian renamed Judea and Samaria, Palestine, after crushing Jewish revolts. From what I've studied, later in 637 AD, the Islamic Empire displaced Jews, Arabized the land, and built the Al-Aqsa Mosque in Jerusalem, a city sacred to Jews and Christians long before. Meanwhile, Mecca never permitted a church or synagogue. This aligns with his point. The Palestinian claim is political, not historical. Research shows that modern Palestinians are Arabs, not descendants of the Philistines. That supports his case, though the issue remains layered and complex.
Spiritual battle is coming to the West, and the enemies are wokeism or Marxism combining with Islamism to go after what we call the American way of life. And the American way of life is very simple. I want to be able to get married, buy a home, have kids, allow them to ride their bike till the sun goes down, send them to a good school, have a low-crime neighborhood, not to have my kid be taught the lesbian, gay, transgender garbage in their school, while also not having them have to hear the Muslim call to prayer 5 times a day. That's important. We want the American way of life, which is, by the way, Christendom. Christians, our sacrifice, our toil, our vision, the outgrowth of the scriptures gave us Western civilization. And this is where I think is a great rallying cry. Doesn't matter if you're Hispanic, doesn't matter if you're Asian, doesn't matter if you're black or white. Everybody, if you are Christian and Jesus Christ is your Lord and Savior, these two threats are combining forces to come after us, and it's time that the church stands and rises up against it.
Kirk was not flawless, but he was better than most. He stood for logic over feelings, truth over slogans, and he defended the core values of Western civilization, just as other cultures defend their own. Most importantly, he remained a bold supporter of Christ. That's not hate, that's legacy. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Like, share, and subscribe. Worldview by Charles, Power, History and Truth.